for more, let's bring in our correspondent, Oliver Farry. He's standing by in Hong Kong. Oliver, good to have you with us. I'm about to come to you, and from what I can see, certainly behind you, it seems like there is a security presence on the streets where you are.
That's right. I'm in Causeway Bay, one of the city's main shopping areas, which is normally home to the protests here, particularly on the 1st of July, the anniversary of the handover of Hong Kong to China. There's an estimated 10,000 police mobilised today to prevent any protests happening. Protests were applied for, the permit was refused, as is the case for most of the last 18 months. The official reason was social distancing, even though COVID-19 domestic cases here in Hong Kong are practically non-existent and have been so for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Nobody is really buying that, but it's still very much a strong tool for the government to use to prevent any protests. So streets here have been cordoned off. Victoria Park has been cordoned off, which the same thing happened on June 4th for the Tiananmen Square vigil, which was also prescribed. Last year saw quite a few arrests the day after the national security law came in. There were a few thousand on the street that day. Today there aren't really anybody. There are very few noticeable protesters. Police have stopped and searched quite a number of people, but there isn't really much of a protest here today.
Oliver, you just mentioned it's been 1 year since the national security law came into effect, a law that has essentially criminalized a host of political views.
That's right. The law came in yesterday, a year ago, and it was intended to supposedly restore prosperity to Hong Kong and snuff out the protests which raged throughout 2019. The government initially said that it would affect only a small number of people. That hasn't really been shown to be the case. There's currently 117 people detained under it, many of them activists and also lawmakers, but even a number of people like opinion writers at Apple Daily, and indeed Apple Daily last week was starved of funds under the national security law and was forced to close as a result. So the national security law is very much a wide-ranging law. Its full force hasn't been felt yet. The first person went to trial last week, and we won't know for another 2 weeks what the verdict will be there. So definitely the national security law is something that has transformed Hong Kong and is expected to continue to do so.
Oliver Farry, thank you so much for that update from Hong Kong for us.